This is Future Talk.
Future Talk.
Future Talk with Omnia Al-Saleh and Hani Balkis.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Future Talk right here on Pulse 95. It is me, Hani Balkis, with Omnia Al-Saleh, bringing you everything you need to know about what's happening in the tech world, in the UAE, and all around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, today is Monday, and we are ready to give you all the news that is happening in the tech world. Today, we're talking about malicious apps that are among the most common Android threats and how this new study did find that out, and we're going to be telling you guys about it to keep you guys safe.
Yes, indeed. We're also going to give them a quick update on the Chinese rocket that was actually making headlines. We talked about it on Thursday. It was making an unknown landing this weekend, and luckily no one was harmed. It actually fell in Malaysia, I believe, in the sea in Malaysia, and so no one was harmed, luckily, and we hope that China continues to try and make their rockets land in a much safer manner. Coming up on today's show as well, we've got lots of news happening right here in the heart of Sharjah as we discuss Sharjah Media City and Shuruq Partners and how they're going to be concluding their first game tech accelerator. A lot of the times, parents tend to look at gaming and the concept of games as something that could be quite harmful for the child, but right here in Sharjah, we're trying to create the best out of it.
Yes, and we're also talking about how Instagram is sidelining with TikTok and giving a feature just like TikTok, and that is following complaints. But we do have a very important interview today, ladies and gentlemen, and Omnia, take it away.
We are talking about a very important topic as well, because a lot of the times whenever we meet new moms, we tend to just see what is lying on the outside. They're happy that they've got their new little one in between their arms, but they may be struggling behind the scenes. And so this is exactly why we're hosting with us today a certified mental health first aider and the founder of a female-focused health technology startup that is known as Maternally. It is actually based right here in Sharjah. Yasmin El Mouallem is going to be joining us to talk to us all about her new application that is going to be launching very soon. What type of needs does this application cater to, especially when it comes to a mother's mental health needs? If you are a new mom or if you know any new mom, this would be a perfect episode to tune into, just so that you can maybe get the help that you have always needed but just never knew where to ask for it.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a jam-packed show today. You don't want to miss out. We are taking a short break, but when we come back, we're talking all about apps that are most common Android threats.
Daily digital news. Bits and bytes connect our world.
We are talking all about gaming, but before we get into gaming, let's talk a little bit about malicious applications. And now, one thing that Samsung and Android devices are quite notorious for is how quick they are to catch on viruses. A lot of people actually struggle with malicious applications and a lot of threats on an Android operating system. And a new study has actually found out that there are a lot of malicious apps that we can go ahead and uninstall or just block out of our Play Store if we want to avoid some of the most common Android threats. The reason why these apps have made it into these studies is because they tend to push intrusive advertisements. They will go ahead and subscribe you as a user to premium services against your will. A lot of the times you'll just see messages coming from your credit card or debit card telling you that this amount was spent and you have no idea where it went to or when you subscribed for this specific service. And other times it could get so bad to the point where the application would basically hack into your social media accounts as well.
Yes, and we are looking at how, global malware attacks have rose about 11% annually to more than 2.8 billion in the first half of 2022 alone. And this is the first rise in such incidents in more than 3 years. And that was, by a study by a cybersecurity company called Sonic Wall. And, we are looking at how malware, which is a program that is typically designed to disrupt or even gain unauthorized access into a system, does constitute one of the biggest threats in the IT industry. And that is why we do need cybersecurity and we do need IT to always be by our sides. And we are looking at, how this is actually part of a wider cybercrime sector and how, they even projected to cause global financial damages to around $10.5 trillion by 2025. And we're looking at how some of these apps that were on, these Android devices were photo editors, beauty filter, the emoji keyboard, neon theme keyboard, catch cleaner, and funny caller, and among others. And these applications were more of very satire, funny applications that a lot of people would use. Now, obviously, these hackers or, this malware in general is targeted to people who are just generic people, the average Joe who just wants to have fun, using their phone. But when they would have these ads or when they would have these apps, they would display ads and, they would request permission to show windows over other apps. Now, while the reminder did ask users to add them to the exclusion list of, the battery saving feature per se, it actually did make it more difficult to detect or for users to detect these malicious apps in the future. And, these Trojans do hide their icons from the list of installed apps in the home screen menu, or even they replace the icons with the list, noticeable ones. And when we look at Trojan horse, right? Do you know the story of the Trojan horse, Omnia?
Yeah.
Now, the Trojan horse, ladies and gentlemen, derives from a very, 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 very old story. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was the Romans.
Yes.
And they were giving a gift to an enemy tribe or an enemy clan. And the gift was a Trojan horse, a statue of a Trojan horse. And inside of that once the rival accepted the gift from the Romans and they put it in their city,
damage began
because then soldiers in the Trojan horse
popped out
and started destroying and causing mayhem. And that is what the word derives from, because when you download these applications, you download them as if they're an application to help you to, be whatever it is.
Yeah.
But it is masked as a malicious attack.
Exactly. And this is why Trojan horses are actually usually known as some of the most damaging malicious apps, because you download them not knowing that they're going to be causing the damage that they will. Now, one example that we could give on how some of these apps have been causing a lot of damage on Android devices is an app that is named SIM Toolkit. So once you go ahead and download the application, it will launch a system within your own system where it will go ahead and work with the different SIM cards. And instead of the original app, you'll start finding it named in a different application. So even if you were to look for it, let's say if you read the name on an article and you want to go ahead and uninstall it, it would have already changed its name, so you cannot even find it, even if you wanted to. So just a quick word of advice: every time you come across a trusted source that lists specific applications that could be causing damage, once again, we've listed a few over here on the show. Some of them are Utoon, which is usually spelled as YOUTOON, AI cartoon effect. Another one is cartoon photo effect. We have mentioned a lot of cache cleaners that cause some damage. One of them is the well-known cache cleaner, the funny caller. You've got the emoji keyboard stickers and GIF, the neon theme keyboard, as well as photo editor beauty filter. These are widely downloaded by many Android users, and so if you've got them, go ahead and get them uninstalled. If you can't find their original name, if you could just go ahead and do a quick search, you'll even find the alternative names for it. Others that are listed are even notes, reminders, and lists, stock wallpapers and backgrounds, new screen. Screen is spelled SCREN. And there are so many others that you could just simply find by doing a quick Google search and saving your phone some damage in the future.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, 4215, we are taking a short break, but when we come back, we're talking all about what, Omnia?
We're talking all about an application that has been making headlines, especially if you are a new mother, you have a little one, and you have been struggling with your mental health. You gotta stay tuned, because we're gonna be hosting Yasmin El Mouallem. She is a certified mental health first aider and the founder of a female-focused health technology startup known as Maternally. She's gonna be telling us all about the application and how we can better take care of new mothers and mothers in general and keep them safe mentally.
This is Future Talk.
Future Talk.
Future Talk with Omnia Al Saleh and Hani Balkis.
Mothers are the backbone of every family, but usually when a new baby comes or joins the family, especially for new mothers, people get very excited to meet the little one. But not many people tend to think of what happens to the mother in the meantime. How is she adjusting to the new life that she has just entered? And what can we do to best support her? Mental health has become a very growing concern for mothers and people in general ever since the COVID-19 pandemic became a part of our lives. And this is exactly why today on the show, we're talking everything mother's mental health. Joining us on the show is a certified mental health first aider and the founder of a female-focused health technology startup known as Maternally that is actually based right here in Sharjah. The application idea won 100,000 dirham grant from Sharjah Businesswomen Council, and so it is such a great honor to get to have you today with us on the show, Yasmin. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Omnia. Thank you so much for having me here, and I'm really excited.
We are as well.
We are very excited. Thank you for coming on. Now, Yasmin, how was the idea of this application born?
So, I've been a breastfeeding counselor for more than 6 years. Recently, after a lot of work and a lot of working with mothers, thousands of hours supporting mothers, a lot of studies, I became an international board certified lactation consultant. And throughout the years, I've noticed that mothers really wanted, while supporting them with their breastfeeding needs, I found that the need for mental health support was lacking. Whenever I asked a mother about how she was doing, how things were going, she immediately answers me about the baby, how the baby is feeding, how the baby is sleeping, anything about the baby. But then when we talk about her, it's like it's a shock for her. It's not
it's not
normal.
something she's used to hearing questions about.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, just like Omni did mention, mothers are the one who takes care of us, but who takes care of the mother and who's asking about the mother, especially, right after a baby is born. And, I love that, again, we are shedding light on mental health in the region, and especially when it does come to mothers.
Absolutely. Now, Yasmin, a quick question comes to mind whenever we talk about mental health, because nowadays online apps have become the trending thing to seek mental health, but people have mixed ideas on whether it is as beneficial as actually meeting a therapist in person. So what are your thoughts on that, and how does this application cater to the needs of a mother when it comes to seeking mental health help?
Yeah, I see what you mean. Definitely, I mean, having something virtually is different than having a face-to-face interaction with the healthcare provider. But even the physical healthcare sector is being shifting towards the online and telehealth. So we have to think of these things, and we have to take into consideration the changes that are happening. And in my opinion, it's something that would definitely help someone who is not able to go and to seek help. To have it in their
palm of their hands.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
You're 100% right, Yasmin. Now, this is the technology show, and again, we are always, taking care of our mental health. And again, just like you said, let's say she's not just a mother of one; she's a mother of 5, of 4. She cannot leave the house and go and do her own free time, even though it's something that she is entitled to. So that is where telehealth does come in hand. She can go to the room, go to the bathroom, have this conversation. Video calls are something that we do every day now. So I believe that, again, when we're looking at the near future, this is the future. And this is where I don't believe just mothers should do that. I think everyone should, if they need to go and talk to someone, they can just bring up their phone and have a conversation, because, again, the human-to-human interaction is the most important thing, regardless if it's virtual or physical.
Absolutely. Can you walk us through how the app actually assesses the mental health of a mother, and how can it cater to her needs?
Sure. So Maternally is an online platform that caters to women's mental health needs during their motherhood journey. There are 3 main pillars that we found very important in the ecosystem: healthcare support, resources, and self-care, and the social aspect. So we will be covering all of these 3 main categories in the ecosystem, and mothers will be able to find a healthcare provider that best suits their needs. For example, if they need a therapist, a psychologist, anything that they might think they need at that moment, they will be able to look for the healthcare provider and book a session.
Yeah.
An appointment.
That's amazing. we're very excited to get to find out a lot more on how it actually caters to every mother out there. And if anyone knows a new mom who may need support, they can also go ahead and share with them the idea of the application. Once again, the application will be launched very soon. It is called Maternally, and we'll be taking a very short break. Once we come back, we're going to be diving deeper into how it caters to those different needs, what are the credentials of the therapists that are on the application, and so much more. If you have any question, feel free to share it with us at 4215.
Yes, 4215, ladies and gentlemen. We will be asking, Yasmin on the air, and your questions are very valuable, so don't forget to send. Taking a short break, but when we come back, the conversation does not end.
Future Talk. This is Future Talk.
With Omnia Al Saleh and Hani Balkis.
Pregnancy and a new baby can bring about a range of emotions, and for a lot of women, actually, they can tend to feel overwhelmed, sad, anxious at different times during their pregnancy or even after the baby is born. When the baby arrives, a lot of people start asking about the child, and they forget that there is a hero behind the scenes that may be struggling, actually, and just no one knows about it. How can we better provide mental health help for new mothers and mothers in general? Joining us today is a certified mental health first aider and the founder of a female-based technology startup known as Maternally. It is actually based right here in Sharjah. It has won a 100,000 dirham grant from Sharjah Businesswomen Council. Yasmin El Mouallem, thanks a lot for joining us once again.
Thank you, Omnia. Thank you, Hani.
Thank you. Now, let's talk about how the application actually does assess and determine the mother's mental, state that she's in. How would that happen?
So the app will not actually assess the state. Mothers will be able to talk to therapists, and then the therapist will be able to assess the needs the mother have, maybe even work on a plan together to see how things go moving forward. So it would be up to the therapist as to assessing a situation and needs.
So are we looking at a type of needs that the application does need to cater to? What kind of needs would that be?
So Maternally will be catering to women during their motherhood journey. So anywhere from trying to conceive till after having the baby. The most highlighted and the most talked about could be maybe the postpartum depression, which is really a very important.
Is that where mothers are most vulnerable?
Exactly, yes, and it's usually. So after delivery, mothers might have some feelings of sadness and some tearing here and there. But when it is after delivery, it's mostly baby blues. But then after around 6 weeks, when things start happening and she starts having these feelings and these thoughts, this is when it is most probably postpartum depression. So.
Yeah, I have a question because I don't know this, but after delivery of a child, is it always a sad time for the mother?
It could be. Mother's hormones are rushing. So the first 9 months when she's pregnant, she has hormones rushing up and down and all over the place throughout the 9 months. And then during delivery and after delivery, it's like a short period of time where these hormones are also rushing.
Yes.
So imagine what's happening to her body, to her brain, to her. So she definitely needs to have support to accept anything that she's feeling. Whatever she's feeling, she has to be accepted.
You're 100% right. Yeah, I agree on that. Again, we kind of take for granted what mothers and women go through just to have this baby. Again, we can see body dysmorphia happen after the delivery of the baby. The body of the woman does change as she was holding a human being for 9 months. And again, this is new information to me. Thank you, Yasmin, for that. That the baby blues, I never knew that there was something called baby blues. I have heard of postpartum depression before, but never about the baby blues.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that your application also caters to women at all stages. You mentioned even when they're trying to conceive, and so that's another unseen pain that a lot of people don't hear about.
Oh, yes.
Infertility, struggling to conceive. People sometimes would see women and they just don't know what they're going through, and so it's very interesting that the app can even cater to those pains.
Absolutely. I mean, if the mother is trying to conceive, she already has this, story in her mind of her life after having the baby. So she's already in the motherhood state. And when she is trying to conceive even, and probably when she hears this heartbeat. So it's definitely something to acknowledge,
yes.
and yeah, and
Absolutely. So we wanted to learn more about the credentials of the therapists or doctors that are actually on the platform. How credible are they, and how can, let's say, a new mother or just a mother in general go ahead and check up on these different credentials to see who fits her needs best?
Yes. So, for example, for sure, if therapists or healthcare providers in terms of psychologists, psychotherapists would be licensed in the jurisdiction where Maternally will be providing the service. And so we will be definitely partnering with the healthcare providers that have the Ministry of Health license or anything that is similar to this depending on the jurisdiction.
Absolutely. So when can we expect the application to be available for mothers in general?
Hopefully before end of this year.
Ooh, that's very exciting.
Again, Yasmin, I would like to thank you for, again, shedding light on this topic, as, again, for someone like me, this is something new to me. I don't know. I'm a man, and unfortunately, I don't know about these things. But, again, awareness is the number one, thing that we need to do. And you are giving, this channel for people to be more aware. And right now, we're on the radio, we're live, and everyone can hear us right now. And if you're like me, you were unaware of all of this, you are now aware, and we should put things into consideration. After this interview, I'm going to go home and I'm going to ask my mom some questions regarding if she was a little bit sad when I was born.
If she went through the baby blues.
I wonder if I was the first child and she was sad that I was born, but not joking. But yeah, again, thank you so much, Yasmin.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Yasmin. But before we wrap it up, I just wanted to ask you, in your opinion, how can we break the stigma around seeking mental health help as a mother in general?
So I see it as the mother, even if she's trying to look for help and trying to seek help from healthcare providers, she doesn't really have to explain herself to anyone. Whoever is trying to maybe support her has to acknowledge that thing and has to support her, and we have to, as supporters, as people as a community, and people in the circle of in the social circle, social support circle, we need to make sure that we support someone who is in need of this mental health care.
Exactly. You're 100% right. And again, it's putting a lot of things into, perspective right now. The mother is supposed to, wake up, feed the children, feed the husband, clean the house, do everything. And then, no one says, hey, how was your day?
True.
Right? Exactly. That's 100% right. And I'm going to go home right now. I'm going to kiss my mom on her head and I'm going to say, how was your day?
That's good.
So thank you, Yasmin. And I hope, hopefully everyone listening as well will put these things into perspective and understand that, our mothers are our backbone. They're fighters. They're warriors. But also, the warriors also need, hey, how are you?
Absolutely. Yes. It's our reminder to go ahead and check up on new moms and moms in general. Yasmin Mouallem, thank you so much for joining us. You are the founder of Maternally, and I truly wish you the very best in the launch of your app.
Thank you so much, Umne. Thank you so much, Hani. Thank you.
Thank you. Pleasure is all ours.
To everyone tuning in, we'll be taking a very short break. But when we come back, we're talking all about Instagram and what they have done in response to what a lot of influencers have been going ahead and mentioning on social media platforms, on how they have transformed into the next TikTok. Keep tuned to find out more about it.
Pulse 95.
Apps all around.
What's worth a click and download?
Pulse 95.
Ladies and gentlemen, what is worth a click and download? Today we're talking about an application that a lot of us use and a lot of us
Can I say
are
something?
under fire. Yes.
When I read these headlines, I read, to be more specific, my sister told me about this on Saturday, and I screamed on the top of my lungs because I'm so happy the TikTok feed is over for Instagram.
Exactly, because I'm going to tell you something. Remember, Umnia, when I, in the beginning of the news.
Thursday, when you found out about it.
And what I've always reiterated, I'm going to reiterate it again, right? Stay in your lane, Instagram. Stay in your lane, Meta. Because, again, when you try so hard to mimic an application, a competitive application that you're competing with, right? They have a certain demographic for a reason, right? And you have your demographic for a reason. You have your user base, and they have their user base. Now, Instagram is very far away from TikTok, and the TikTok-like features that were implemented last week, which was, the playing up from the short-form video, displaying it in full screen, and even recommending posts from strangers,
And even turning your photos and videos into reels. They'll constantly suggest to me,
Exactly.
oh, do you want to turn this into a reel? I'm like, no, I'm happy with it being just a couple of photos shared.
Exactly. And when Instagram started doing this, Omnia was one of the most vocal people about it. And she did, be vocal about it on the air on the show on Thursday. And a lot of people, throughout Instagram were complaining. And some, a lot of bloggers were talking about it. And Kylie Jenner, who is... I think the second most followed, third most followed person on Instagram.
Also Kim Kardashian.
Kim Kardashian as well. So again, we are looking at how Instagram has, brought the horses back, holding their horses, and putting back the changes as if it was never there.
Finally. Now, I'm sure the celebrity sisters, Kim K and Kylie Jenner, are some of the happiest people that Instagram is back to being Instagram again, since they have been very vocal about it. They posted a lot of messages this past week calling for Meta and Instagram to make Instagram again and stop trying to be like TikTok. So the Instagram themselves, and Adam Mosseri, the head of Instagram, they have not come out in an official statement to say that. However, a lot of reports have been coming out saying that they're going to pause the features that they have been campaigning these past few months, all about turning Instagram into a video platform or a short video platform rather than sticking to being the well-known photo sharing platform. Now, the slogan actually became very popular and viral over the change.org petition. It has received more than 229,000 signatures as of late Thursday. And so the petition actually was calling for Instagram to go back to its root, to remember the intention behind the application, which was to simply share photos. And the Instagram chief, Adam Mosseri, has actually responded to the controversy earlier last week, saying that they're a work in progress and that they have only tested this feature with a small number of users, which I've actually found out from Hani that only people who've used Instagram very often got to see what it's like to have a TikTok feed. And let me tell you, it's ugly.
Yeah, I mean, again, we have been seeing, Instagram. Listen, they've done it before. They have ripped, stories off of Snapchat, and it worked great for them. And a lot of people stopped using Snapchat. And, they thought that, hey, we can just keep vulturing content from our competing social media apps, and it's going to keep going our way. But again, you can only go so far. You can only bend reality so much until it snaps you right back in the face. And that is what has happened when it does come to the full screen view and many other things that we've seen, Instagram try to mimic when it does come to TikTok. But they are taking a big step back and reviewing their choices and their decisions when it does come to what will happen and how they can compete with Instagram, with TikTok. I personally believe Instagram is great the way it is, and what's not broken, don't fix it. Again, and a lot of people have took it to a lot of social media forums, actually, and they were saying the more Facebook to be more exact, and Meta as a whole, when Meta keeps changing Instagram and Facebook, they're actually pushing their user base away.
True.
Right? And one of the main reasons why I deactivated my Facebook is because there was too many changes, too quick. It's hard for the user to adapt. And we all went to Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, whatever, as the youth. And I don't believe even my dad or my mom use Facebook anymore, to be 100% honest with you.
It's, for some reason, it has a big fan base when it comes to the older generation, but the younger generation just fell out of love. We'd love to hear your thoughts, whether or not you are happy that Instagram is going to be leaving the TikTok style feed. Personally, I'm over the moon. I cannot wait for the change to finally come to my application or on my phone specifically, but we'd love to hear your thoughts. 4215. This does mark the end of Future Talk for today. We truly hope you've enjoyed this hour with us just as much as we did, and we can't wait to be back with you tomorrow. Same time, same place, bringing you the latest tech innovation taking place right here in Sharjah and all around the world.
If you liked this episode of Future Talk, drop a like and subscribe.
Pulse 95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.